All right, guys, welcome back. Greg, how you feeling, man?
Is there anything positive to be feeling after that game? I'm feeling horrified and scared.
All right. Well, before we dive in, let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. Sponsored as always by Chapter One Films. Sponsored by Snyder's Pretzels. Although after last week's performance, we might have to think twice about dropping that partnership. And as always, sponsored by Trey Wayne. So thanks, Trey, for being a friend of the show. All right, man. You got a Kirk Cousins science fact for us?
All right, our Kirk Cousins science fact of the day, Danny. Your Kirk Cousins science fact of the day is: did you know there are 206 bones in the adult body and 300 bones in a child's body? When they get older, some of the bones fuse together.
Interesting. Fun fact for you: did you know that the average Minnesota Viking has 325 bones in his body by the end of the regular season because we always freaking get injured?
That makes sense.
Anyways, thanks, Kirk, for the science fact of the week. Let's get to headlines. Everson Griffin. It's the big news this week. Obviously, got some mental health issues. He's hospitalized right now. What are your thoughts, Greg?
It's like there's not even really any other headlines that come close. It's kind of dominated all the news for Vikings fans. Yeah, crazy, man. I mean, if going into the season, we had coaches dying, we had players getting injured, and now we have our defensive captain go crazy, literally go insane. There was reports of him jumping in the back of somebody's pickup truck, breaking into somebody's house. I mean, it sounds sad. I mean, you're sad for him. I mean, you put football aside, but as a fan, yeah, you're very disappointed, and especially after the loss. You just wonder what it means for the defense. Because if you look at all of our defensive players, they're pretty young. I mean, even Harrison Smith, who's an amazing player, he's not very vocal. He's very quiet and passive. All the rest of our defensive players, young. And when we don't have Terrence Newman anymore, we lost B-Rob. So, I mean, it really is a young defense, and I'm curious to see what happens. I think it could be a big shot.
Yeah, I think you said it. It's the physical performance, like losing a good player, but it's also he was one of the leaders of that defense. So.
Absolutely. All right, Danny. So some O-line changes. Riley Reef is out. Pat Elflein is back. What do you think that says for our struggling offensive line?
Man, well, Riley Reef, I think himself. Well, first off, we gave up 40 pressures in 55 dropbacks last week. So 40 quarterback pressures, and I believe either 15 or 16 of them were led up by Riley Reef. So he had an awful game. So, I don't think whoever his replacement is can really be that much worse. I've heard a number of different possibilities, including moving Rashad Hill over to left tackle, which sounds terrifying to me because he struggles at right tackle.
Yeah.
And then having Brian O'Neill stay at right tackle, and, he's been serviceable. I've also heard the possibility of moving Mike Remmers back out to tackle. So, I don't know. Good news is Pat Elflein is back. But, man, that offensive line is looking shaky. And Riley Reef being injured can't make things any better, that's for sure. So, big question mark there. All right, Greg, concerns about Anthony Barr. He has not had a real good start to the year.
It's been funny with Barr. When we first got him in Kendricks, I think he was the bigger prospect in Kendricks, obviously. I mean, when you look at him, Kendricks is short. He doesn't have the height and the weight that Barr brings, the size that you want in a linebacker. And he actually had an amazing first year. But he's really underperformed in years past since. And it's not that he's been terrible. He's been very mediocre, and it's not been what we thought Anthony Barr was going to be. Specifically, the start of this season, and more specifically his game, it was pretty bad and pretty embarrassing. I think he'll bounce back. I think he needed to really be embarrassed. I mean, he was embarrassed. I mean, he got jumped over. He got penalties called on him. He got burned all by a quarterback. It wasn't like there's a running back jumping over. No, he's getting penalties called because he's horse collar tackling, because he's being lazy. Josh Allen's running right past him to score a touchdown, jumping over him. I mean, he got pretty humiliated, and I think that's really good. I'm hoping that he responds well. I think he's going to respond really well. So I'm hoping it just kind of turns his game around, to be honest, because that was pretty humiliating. All right, Danny, last headline. The Chicago Bears, #1 in the NFC North. What do you think about that?
Chicago Bears are garbage. All right, I don't care about the Chicago Bears. They're 2-1, but they barely beat the Arizona Cardinals with Josh Rosen playing quarterback at the end of the game, and Sam Bradford didn't look good either. But no, I'm not worried about the Bears. They beat the Seahawks, who looked terrible. They beat the Cardinals, who I just said, who looked terrible, and then they lost to the Packers. Bears are not a problem. I don't care about the Bears. It's all about this whole season is about who the Vikings are. If the Vikings are as good as we think they are, then the Bears don't matter, the Lions don't matter, the Packers probably don't even matter.
Yeah.
But so no, not concerned about the Bears. But yeah, I don't think anybody saw this coming.
Surprise.
Yeah. All right, so as usual, Uncle Louie wrote into the show. Let's see what he had to say. He actually sent me a postcard, and this is dated. People wanted to know what Uncle Louie looks like. Well, here you get your introduction. So hopefully you guys can see this. So he sent me a postcard, and he dated it 3 p.m. on Sunday. And on the back he just wrote, "I spent my Sunday on the beach. How was your Sunday?"
What a filthy, filthy man.
So, yeah, I mean, he's, I think he had a better Sunday than we did. You got to give him that. Oh, man. We had a few people commenting on the show that looks like Uncle Louie knew what he was talking about.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. I think he may have been right this week, Uncle Louie.
Yeah.
But you're not right for the rest of the season.
Yeah, let's hope. All right, man, speaking of next steps, let's talk about the Rams tomorrow night. Thank God it is a short week. I don't think I could have lived with a full week to digest this last loss. But what are your thoughts, man? Going into the Rams?
Yeah, I think at first thing you're thinking, what a terrible game to play on Thursday night. We have to travel to LA. Not only are we traveling, but it's a Thursday. Not only it's a Thursday, but it's California, which means there's a big time difference. And on top of that, the Rams look like the best team in the NFL. So all of that mounted up. We were like, oh, this is a bad game. And now, after that loss, everybody's going, thank God we're playing somewhere where we can redeem ourselves. And it's quick. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to play as badly as the Vikings do. I mean, they want to, as soon as they can, put this game behind them. I can only imagine how Zimmer is treating them in practices. And also to be able to play a team like the Rams, where if you beat them, you really do change. I mean, it wipes everything away. If we dethrone the Rams in LA, I mean, and that's it. That's the other big NFC dog right now, especially with the Bucs losing. So, I mean, I'm excited. I think it's an awesome opportunity, and I think that this shapes the whole season right here. I think that we'll look back and talk about that time we were freaking out because Everson Griffin went crazy and we lost a really bad game to the Bills. But think of last year. Last year, this time, Dalvin Cook is going down with an ACL tear for the rest of the year, and we're finding out that Sam Bradford may never come back. And we're having to accept the fact that Case Keenum is going to be leading a Dalvin Cookless offense to
No, I think you're right, man. I think you're right. I think 36 hours from now, we're going to have a good sense of where this football season is heading. If we beat the Rams, all is forgiven. All these Vikings fans who, spent the last couple of days saying we should fire Zimmer and all of that, they're going to go back to their caves, back with Uncle Louie, and we'll be good. But if we lose and if we look bad losing tomorrow night, it's going to start to get real scary.
Not going to happen.
Big game. Yeah, I'm feeling good about this game. I feel like the players are going to be itching to get back on the field. The Rams are missing Aqib Talib and Peters.
Yeah.
Both of their starting corners are out. They're 3-0, right? But they've had some soft wins. I mean, the Cardinals are pathetic. The Chargers are the Chargers.
And the Raiders are the other one.
Yeah, so I can't wait to have this game played. I'm sure. I mean, I think it was Kyle Rudolph who said that it seems like the Vikings have to have one terrible game every season. So I'm choosing to believe that the Bills was an aberration. We were distracted because of the Everson Griffin stuff.
Sure.
We were due for a letdown because we just overlooked the Bills. We're going to get back to it on Thursday night. Can't wait. If it doesn't happen, oh man, we're going to be in a bad spot. But yeah, I can't wait for the game. So Greg, tell me this. If we lose, why are we going to lose to the Rams?
If we lose, I think it's going to be because we can't stop Gurley. We did an awesome job last year. I mean, I think it was his single game all of last year where he was held I think he was held under 50 all-purpose yards. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he scored the opening drive. He scored their touchdown, but he didn't have any yards. They went down the field, they scored it, and then we stopped him the rest of the game. And I think over his all-purpose yards were 40 or 30 or something with that touchdown. If we can do that again and really put the pressure on Goff to beat us, I still don't think Goff. I think Goff is the one soft spot. I think he doesn't have to get pushed a lot because his team is so good. I think we can be the team to push him and to put the pressure on him. So I think if we let Gurley run up and down the field, Goff's going to feel comfortable and we're going to lose.
Yeah, agreed completely.
So if there's one thing we have to do to win this game, what is that?
Protect Kirk Cousins. man, did he look bad?
so
But
bad.
it was because he had pressure in his face constantly. Again, like 40 out of his 55 dropbacks, he was pressured. I think we gave up 4 sacks. Have to give him time to throw. He apparently doesn't do real well when he's rattled. He did not do well last
Clearly.
week. So we need to protect Kirk Cousins. The offensive line needs to show up in general. Like we also can't have him throwing 55 passes. We need to get some balance. But if I had to choose one thing that has to happen, we need the offensive line to protect Kirk Cousins. So thoughts on the game, and what do you think the score is going to be?
All right, so I think it's going to be an awesome game. I think we hold them to 17 points, and I think we put up 24 points, and we win this game by 7.
All right, I like it. My prediction's pretty close to yours. I think 20-17 Vikings. I think we start off reasonably well. I think we get better as we get into the game. First quarter is going to be slow, and then we're going to pick it up. I think we're going to win 20-17. Going to be a close game, but we're going to be really, really happy. Going to bed Thursday night.
Tomorrow, 24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours. All right, so let's close out the show with this or that. So, Greg, I'm going to give you a scenario, and you have to tell me what's going to happen more. I'm going to give you 2 scenarios, and you tell me which is more likely to happen. All right, so number 1, what's more likely? Kirk Cousins leading us to the playoffs, or Kirk Cousins quitting football forever to pursue a career as an architect? Wait, how does this work? Am I supposed to... I guess you got to choose each one.
I have to choose each one, but I mean, I feel like that could both happen. He could lead us to the playoffs and then want to pursue architecture now that he's... I'm going to go lead us to the playoffs. I think he's going to do it this year.
All right.
No doubt in my mind.
Perfect. All right, Mike Hughes. So what's going to happen more on Sunday? Mike Hughes bobbled punts, or Rashad Hill giving up terrible drive-ending sacks?
Drive-ending sacks, their D-line's good enough, and I've got faith in Mike Hughes. He had a hiccup. Rookies need to have those.
All right, fair enough. Last one. What's going to happen more on Thursday? Linval Joseph roughing the passer, or Jared Goff hurdling a flailing Anthony Barr on the way to a key third down conversion?
If that happens again, Anthony Barr should walk off the field into the locker room and just leave. I'm going to go Linval with some roughing the passer calls because who the heck knows? It's just a total toss-up. You never know with those things.
It's terrible. All right, man. I'm feeling a little better. That loss on Sunday's behind me. Get ready for Thursday. Let's go kick some butt.
Let's get here Thursday. Come on. Let's go Vikings.
All right. See you guys next week.